All right, moving on to the grab command of our game. Our grab command has a lot of conditions that are associated with it. So we're going to have quite a few ways to validate if they can grab something. So if we check back in our project description, what we're going to notice is if we find the information about grabbing, right here. So we are going to use a list to keep track of the user's items. At the beginning of the game, it should empty. And a maximum of 3 items can be held at once. So that means that a user can only grab something if they have room to hold it, and they can only hold 3 things at once. So what we are going to do is we are going to first head back up to the top here where we made some variables for our player. So in front of our while loop, in front of our game loop here, we have their current floor, their current room. We have whether they won the game, whether or not they're alive. And then we're going to make a new variable, and I'm going to call it backpack. And backpack is going to be set to an empty list. So this will be a list where we can hold items that the user picks up. And yeah, that's it. It's going to be their backpack. So what we're going to do for our grab statement right here, and we're just going to go ahead and delete pass, is the first thing we want to do is we want to see if they can hold an item. So if, and then we want to see if the length of backpack, the list backpack, is greater than 3, they shouldn't be able to hold any items. So essentially, our backpack's going to fill up with items, or our backpack is a list. As they grab things, they will be items in that list. If there are 3 items in that list, we are not going to let them pick anything else up. And to test the length of the list, we can use a built-in function called length. I believe, if I Google it really quick, it's len is the function. Let's check. Python 3. Pretty sure built-in function length. So length returns the number of items of an object, and we can put in a list there. So perfect. So we could just do this, if length, and then we could throw in the name of our list, which is backpack. And what we want to do is if that the length of backpack is equal to or greater than 3, we're going to say, sorry, your backpack is full. You can't carry any more items. All right, so if their backpack has more than 3 items, they cannot pick it up. And I think I have wrote this backwards. I believe it has to be greater than or equal to. Let me just check those really quick. Yep, greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to. Perfect. So print, sorry, your backpack is full. You can't carry more items. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and write this else statement here. Otherwise, if their backpack isn't full, we want them to be able to pick up the item. And in this case, what we could do is we could write... So it's a little tricky here. We have these rooms that have certain items in it. Now, one of the things is they can only pick up the magic stones or a sword. So we want to be careful because we don't want them to have the ability to pick up a monster. We don't want them to have the ability to pick up a staircase. So we want to make sure that they're only picking up swords or magic stones. So inside this else statement, we're going to go ahead and write another if statement. And this if statement is going to check to see if the room is anything but the magic stones or anything but a sword. So if current floor, current room, let's go, does not equal sword or current floor, current room does not equal, what's the other thing? Magic stones. We are going to print out there's nothing in this room to pick up. So that way, if the current room is not a sword or a magic stones, there's nothing for them to pick up. They can't pick it up. And then what we could do is, well, if it is a sword or it is magic stones, so it's not any other room, we can pick up the item. So let's do a couple things to pick up the item. First, let's print out the item that they pick up, just to let them know what they picked up. So we could print, you pick up a, and then we could print out current floor, current room, because current floor, current room will print out the item that's in that room. So print out what they pick up. So you pick up A. Then we actually need to do the work of picking up the item. So how do we pick up an item? Pretty simple. What we're going to do is we are going to put the item into the list backpack and then change that item to nothing so it's no longer there. So essentially what we're going to do is, let's say they were in the room with magic stones. We would move magic stones into list, and then we would delete magic stones from the list and move it to backpack. We would delete magic stones from the list and change it into nothing. So 2 steps there that we need to do. So the first step is let's move the item into their backpack. So let's move the item from where they are into the backpack. And we can do that with the .append function. .append method. So if we go back to our list methods, you can see that the append method adds an item to our list. So it uses the dot notation of methods. So we type our list, we type the method, which is append, and then it takes the item that we want to add to the list. So this is really simple. What we're going to do is we're going to do, the name of our list is backpack. So backpack dot append. And what we want to add to that is current floor, current room. So we will add to the list backpack the item that is in our current room. That's simple enough. And then we just need to go ahead and delete that item from the list and turn it into nothing. And we can do that really easily if we know that the current room we're in is current floor, current room. Then we could just set that equal to nothing, thereby overwriting what's currently in there, which is the item, and putting nothing in its place. And then one thing we might want to do is after a user picks something up, we might just want to print out the items that are in its backpack. So if we just do another print command, we could do something like, in your backpack, you now have, and then we'll print out their backpack. So that way it'll tell us the items that are in its backpack. So hopefully if we did everything right here, we have a whole lot of code going on, a whole lot of if-else statements, but basically where it's like this. If their backpack has less than 3 items, or if their backpack has more than 3 items, we're going to tell them, hey, sorry, your backpack's full, you can't carry any more items. if there's room in their backpack, what we'll do is we'll check to see if the room has something we could pick up, a sword or the magic stones. If it doesn't, we're going to say, sorry, there's nothing you can pick up in this room. But if it does, we'll pick up the item. We will add it to our backpack. We'll delete that item from the room. And then we will print out the backpack so people can see what's in it now. Hopefully, if we did everything right, which fingers crossed here, we could do it. So inside the room is nothing. So because inside this room is nothing, if we try to grab, we should get there's nothing in this room to pick up. And again, we just repeat the loop. You're in a room that has nothing. What would you like to do? Let's move to a room that does have something we could pick up. So if we move right, if we move right, and then we move down the stairs, we're inside a room that has the sword. So now what would we like to do? We should be able to grab, and there's nothing in this room to pick up. So we have something going on. Let's go back and see. Right here. So this statement right here I said should be an or statement. I was totally wrong. It should be a and statement. And the reason why is that the way that I wrote this, if the current room is not sword and the current room is not magic stones. Because if it is one or the other, and I know that I just said the word or, but if it is one or the other, they should be able to pick up. So the only time when they can't pick up is when the room is not sword and magic stones, when it is one of the other options being monster or anything else. So because I wrote it this way, it's actually an and statement, because the only time they can't pick up something is when the room is not sword and it's not magic stones. So let's try this one more time and run it again. And let's go ahead and move, let's move right. Let's move down. We should be able to now grab the sword. Perfect. You pick up a sword. In your backpack, you now have a sword. Inside a room. Inside the room is now nothing. Now we should be able to move left, up, right, right. And now we have monster. And now we need to write the code to fight the monster. So we're one step closer. We have our backpack. We're looking good.